Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today I am sharing my top 5 alternatives to Monopoly. I grew up playing Monopoly, I loved playing Monopoly, but there are certain things that are kind of tough about playing it, especially with your own kids as an adult. So this list are my top 5 alternatives I would suggest that result in a more pleasant game experience for all involved. They are listed in the description of the video along with the timestamp if you want to skip to a particular one, and I've included any how to play videos linked below as well. Let's get started. First up, we have Monopoly Deal. This is your more strategic, speedy, and super cheap version of Monopoly. It's just a deck of cards. It's pretty widely available, and it's about $6 to pick this up, which is awesome. The goal of the game is to be the first to have 3 sets of properties in front of you, 3 monopolies. And I love this because there's a little bit of strategy in which cards you choose to play down in front of you. The cards in your hand are safe. Whatever you place down in front of you can be stolen, so people can steal the properties you have down in front of you. They have specialty action cards that allow them to do this, that make you pay rent, or that are cards like It's My Birthday, where everybody has to pay them $2 million. And if you don't have any money placed down in front of you, and you have properties down, you use the properties to pay. So it can be really neat to see the properties moving around the game as you're playing. How you use the specialty cards really impact who wins and loses the game. And they all say what they do on them, so it's really easy to pick up, but you have interesting decisions as you play. So, and this is great because you go through, and a lot of times 2 people are really close to winning at the same time. So it's much more, oh, who's going to win at the end, than in typical Monopoly. By the end, you're just waiting for them to finish off their opponents. In this, it can be right down to the wire. And perhaps the best thing about this is, how many times in your life have you sat down and played 3 or 4 games of standard Monopoly back to back? It takes too long, but this you often do because it is so quick. So it is all the fun just wrapped up in such a better chunk of time. Next up, we have Splendor, which is a 45-minute game, but because Monopoly is a bit of a longer game, I've included a few longer than 20-minute games on this list because that is part of the appeal for many people, that it's a game, when they play Monopoly, they just settle in and have a game that they're playing for a while with their friends or family. So I think Splendor's in line with this, and it is so easy to learn, and it has sort of the same feel as some of the best parts of Monopoly. In Splendor, the official description is you are a rich merchant in the Renaissance, and you're using gems to acquire mines, transportation methods, and artisans. Basically, each turn you get to pick 3 jewels, and the jewels allow you to purchase development cards that either have another jewel on them, and most of them have different point values depending on how many jewels it takes to purchase the card. This is considered an engine building game, and it's very satisfying to play because it is so easy to teach the basics of it. You look at it and you say, oh, I need these jewels to buy that card. Noted. Like, that's all you have to know going in. And then, but there is some strategy for how you go about which jewels you select, if you want to reserve a card in advance, and to block somebody, or just to reserve it for yourself. If the right cards come up for the type of jewels you're collecting, there's a little bit of luck there too. So this is one that is about the same ability level for Monopoly to be able to play. We've played this with my kids when they were 6 and they were fine, but it wasn't boring for the adults either. It felt like there was strategy and interesting things to do. There are different noble cards that if you collect enough cards with different gems on them, if you're the first to do that, you get these bonus points, and it just feels like a race to the most points. So it's a very positive experience where even if you don't win, oh, I was just a turn or 2 away, I just needed to get a couple more jewels and then I would have had that card and I would have won. So it's nice strategy, good chat time for family. Still a little bit of opportunity to take cards that other people want, but simple enough for kids, and it's a standout. It just seems like it's a staple in everyone's collection, and I would happily play this one just about any night. Next up, we have Ticket to Ride, a game in which you're trying to gain the most points by claiming routes in between cities or completing destination ticket cards. And you do this by collecting cards that correspond to the colors in between different cities. And if you can play down a set of matching colors, you can claim a route. And that's the whole game. So again, so simple to pick up the basics and learn. This is perfect for like a mellow game night at home. The standard version is about 45 minutes or an hour to play, so kind of the same feel and length of time as Monopoly, but they have city versions that we really like because they're 20 minutes, and so you can do London and Amsterdam or San Francisco. They have child versions, Ticket to Ride First Journey, where they have North America, Europe, and then a Halloween version of that. They are geniuses because there are tons of different versions of all of the different Ticket to Ride games. I don't know how much of a collection you would have if you collected them all. So it can be like how people collect all the different Monopoly sets. You can kind of do that with Ticket to Ride, with just different regions. And the maps are different each time, and some people really prefer certain maps. I know a lot of people really like Ticket to Ride Europe is better than Ticket to Ride North America, apparently, according to those in the know. I just like all of them, so any are fine by me. Pick a region you like and play it, and it's fine. But this is just perfect where they have different versions that are great for kids, adults, grandparents. There's a little bit of where people can block your routes and cut off where you wanted to go, but you can always take a longer route around and still have some success. And again, it's just going for the most points. So it's a lovely family game night together, easy to understand and fun to play. Next up, we have Catan Dice. A lot of people who've played Monopoly a bunch move on to Settlers of Catan, which is a fine game, but it still takes a while to play, especially if you're playing with a certain set of people, and the trading can be tricky. So Catan Dice offers the Settlers of Catan experience, but in about 20 minutes and in a nice dice game format where there is no trading. In this, you are rolling you're rolling dice that have the different resources on them, and you're able to use them to build the things that you would be building in regular Settlers of Catan. So you're building roads, settlements, cities. You're still able to, in this, you're able to purchase knights and do special things with them. So you're trying to get the most points. They have these nice score sheets where there are two sides to them. So there's two different boards to play on. There's two different playing styles. And it just plays really well. It gives me the Settlers of Catan feel without actually playing the standard game. And on that note, Catan Junior, again, for kids, it is fantastic. It's so fun. It's one of our favorite games for kids, and it is the right length of time if you're playing with a 6-year-old. So a lot of people have moved on from Monopoly to from Monopoly to Settlers of Catan, and I'm saying move on from that to Catan Dice. And finally, we have Camel Up, 2nd edition. This is perhaps the biggest outlier on this list, but I thought it was worthy of mention because it is just fantastic fun for a family level game in which the theme is camel racing, and you are betting on camels and trying to end the game with the most money. So it's kind of like Monopoly in that you want to have the most money at the end. In this game, you are rolling dice out of a pyramid. The camels, you have a few different options on your turn. You can place a bet on that round, which camel you think is going to be in the lead. You can place an end of game bet on which camel you think is going to win overall and which camel you think is going to lose. You can place out an Oasis token where if somebody else lands on it, they have to pay you a coin, and then either if the camel lands on that, they move forward, one spot, or depending if you have it on the other side, it would go backwards one spot, which can gum up the works for people's bets that they were placing. There are even a couple of crazy camels that go the wrong direction around the board and can carry a camel off the wrong way from where the race is going, because yes, camels stack in this game. It is just hilarious to watch and set up. The camels can stack on a certain spot, and the one that's on the top is technically the winner. So it is just hilarious to play. I have never played this and not had an absolutely wonderful time, win or lose, because the whole process of playing is so fun. You're talking, you get to do a little friendly smack talk about which camel you think is going to win that round and what amazing bets you placed. So it is just one that should be included, because if you have at least 3 people and you want to have some family level fun with just a little bit more strategy than a regular game of Monopoly, this one is a can't miss. So that's it for my top 5 alternatives to Monopoly. A lot of times people just seem to get stuck in the old familiar games that they already know, and there are so many good new games that are really fun to play. So I hope you found 1 or 2 on this list that you're excited to check out, and thank you so much, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.